Hello, everybody, and welcome back to English with Gemma, where we turn English practice into progress. Today's minisode is going to be a continuation of episode 71, which was all about vocabulary and slang for relationships and dating. So I recommend that if you haven't already listened to that episode, you go ahead and pause this podcast episode or video and listen to that one. Or don't. I can't tell you how to live your life, but it is recommendable because this is a continuation of that episode. And you kind of, for context and the rest of the vocabulary, you should probably go ahead and watch that one first if you haven't already. If you have, then you already know that in our last episode, we left off with vocabulary about modern dating. So, like, basically the slang words that are most common right now in dating and relationship world, or in that area. So we looked at things like ghosting, situationship, zombieing, which was a new one for me actually, and green flags and red flags. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, like I said, go ahead and give that episode 71 a listen. That's my last episode that I posted. And like I said, at the end of that episode, I said that maybe it's a good idea if we continue with this topic just because it was so long. So that's what we're going to do today. So this should be much shorter, and that's why I decided to make it this week's mini-sode. It just made sense. So we are starting off, or we are continuing from the relationship problems area. Sorry. Topic. I'm really sorry if today I'm a bit slow. For the last 5 days, I was really sick with tonsillitis. And I actually ended up having to go to the hospital to get treatment because I was like really, really bad. So I'm still kind of like a little bit out of it, which means I have a little bit of brain fog and I'm just like very tired after all of that. So yeah, apologies if I'm a little bit like that's why last episode came out late, because I just couldn't post last Saturday. I was so sick. So just a little warning that I might be a little bit like slow today, but that's okay. So relationship problems. Sometimes, as we all know, relationships might hit rough patches. And here is the vocab that we need to talk about those difficulties. So the first one is to have issues or to have problems. We've been having some issues lately. We've been having some problems lately. Things that come up in a relationship that are difficult. You can just say we've been just having some issues. To go through a rough patch, that's our next one. This is to go through a temporary, oh my God, sorry. This is to go through a temporary difficult period. Every couple goes through rough patches sometimes. This is not only limited to talking about relationships. You can also just say in life, like, I'm going through a bit of a rough patch right now. For example, last week, I went through a rough patch with my health. So it's just like a temporary difficult time. Next phrase is to drift apart. So the verb drift is often used in water or boats and things like that, because to drift means to slowly move away. And I think it means in water or some type of liquid, because I think also the air can drift. So I think it has to be something like that. So to drift apart from somebody means that you gradually become more and more distant emotionally, not physically. Like drift apart, it's emotional. So for example, I don't really know what happened. We just drifted apart over the years. The next phrase is to be on the rocks. To be on the rocks is when a relationship or a situation in life is like in serious danger of going bad or in serious trouble. So, for example, I wasn't surprised to hear that they broke up. Their relationship has been on the rocks for many months. Okay, next topic is breaking up. Sad. Sometimes things don't work out and we have to go our separate ways. So the first verb or phrasal verb is to break up with someone. Or you can just say, we broke up. So, for example, they broke up last month, or she broke up with him because they wanted different things. This is something that I personally don't agree with. I don't think that you should do this. I think if you're gonna separate, you should just break up. But there's something else that's not quite a breakup, which is called like split up or take a break. So it's similar to breakup, but it's like take a break. It's like we're gonna basically break up and even maybe see other people and then try to get back together. I think this is really stupid. Like I honestly think that if you need to have a break from somebody, then that's a really bad sign and you should just take that as like, okay, like let's just break up basically. So to take a break and to break up are two different things. To take a break is temporary, to break up is permanent. Then we have, sorry, I got confused before. I didn't mean to say this. To split up. Now we're talking about to split up. To split up is similar to break up, but it's used for more established couples like married people. If they divorce, you could say they split up. So, for example, did you hear Kate and Tom split up? The next one is to dump someone. To dump someone, it's quite informal, and it's a blunt way to say that someone ended the relationship. And it often implies that it wasn't mutual. The person that does the dumping is the person that's deciding to break up with the other one, and the other person probably doesn't want to break up. For example, he dumped her over text, which means he broke up with her by sending a text message. Not cool, you guys. Don't dump people over text. At least send a voice note. Just kidding. You should either call somebody or see them face to face and have the, be brave, even though it's hard, and have that difficult conversation face to face. The next phrase is to get back together. So this means to resume a previous relationship after breaking up or after taking a break, which, like I said before, I don't understand why people do that. But anyways, so if you break up or you take a break, you can get back together, which means resume the relationship. For example, they have broken up and gotten back together 5 times. We have ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, or you could just say my ex, an ex. It's a former romantic partner. For example, oh my God, I ran into my ex at the coffee shop. It's never fun running into your ex in public. Gives me a lot of anxiety. I just try to ignore them or just be like, hi. It depends on how we left the relationship. To be honest, my most significant relationship of 5 years, my ex-boyfriend is like my best friend now. We have absolutely no hard feelings. He dumped me and I was really upset for like 1 year. And then after that, we've just kind of reconciled and become really good friends. And I'm very grateful for that. Like, I don't know what I would do without him in my life. He's literally like one of my best friends. So love you, Javi, if you're listening. Miss you. Just kidding. I literally texted him this morning. What were we talking about? To move on means to emotionally, sorry, the loudest motorcycle ever just went by my window. To move on means to emotionally recover from a breakup and be ready for new relationships. So it took me about a year to move on from my ex, but now I'm completely over it. If you're over it, it's like you don't care anymore. For example, oh my God. You can do this, Gemma. You're gonna be fine. I'm sorry, guys. My brain is like, I have like one brain cell that's struggling to be alive. It took me months to move on after the breakup, or she's already moved on and gotten over it and started dating someone new. So to move on and to get over. All right, guys, that is the end of this mini-sode. I know that was a lot of vocabulary if we put the two episodes together, but I do think that this topic is really important, whether you're trying to date people in English or not, or if you just like want to talk about this topic. It's really important because this is something that comes up in small talk a lot. Like, um, dating and relationships are a big part of life and the human experience. So I think it's very good to number one, have this vocabulary, number two, understand it, and number three, try to utilize it and use it. So how can you kind of keep going with this topic if it's something that you think is important or you're interested in? I would say watching sitcoms like Friends, How I Met Your Mother, Big Bang Theory. You will see a lot of this vocabulary because those are situational comedies. That's what sitcom means. And a lot of the episodes revolve around dating and relationships and funny situations that come up within that topic. So, if you kind of want to keep going with this and learning more about this topic, I would highly recommend those series, or any sitcom really has a lot of dating and relationship vocab. So, thank you guys so much for watching or listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.